So last winter I had 3 months with no income, no place to stay. I was living in a tent in the woods, and one night the rangers came by and said, "You can't stay here because it's going to be 0 tonight." So I made my way up to Florence, into town, and somebody put me on to room in the inn. I had no idea it was here. I had a warm place to stay that night and a hot meal and breakfast the next morning. The workers almost universally were real respectful, kind-hearted, generous, willing to help with things other than just a place to stay and something to eat.
I first came to Florence in January 8th of this year, 2015, and I had no place to go. The only thing I knew was one person had told me that there was a place called a room in the inn. It was one of the best things that I could have ever decided to do or agreed to, was just go to a room in the inn. And one of the greatest things about it was church-based. It's nothing like, just any other shelter. These are people that take time out of their day, each and every day of the week, from one place to the next, and they show nothing but true and genuine care.
I'm Beth Howard, and I'm one of the directors for Room in the Inn Shoals. In the winter of 2014, a group of friends of mine and I saw a need in the Shoals. We had come into contact with several people that we knew were homeless, and we knew which dumpsters they were sleeping behind. We knew what stoops they were sleeping on at night, and it was one of the coldest winters that we had seen in a long time, and we just couldn't go to sleep at night knowing that people that we knew, that we spoke to at church on Sunday or in the coffee shop during the week, were sleeping in the cold. And the nights that was freezing, that was 32 degrees or below, we would open a warming center. Going forward through the summer, Krista and I talked, and we knew that the model that we were using was not sustainable. It was a lot of work on a few people. So we did some research and found Room in the Inn in Nashville. When we saw that they had sustained this program for 30 years and that it was such a great concept, we decided that we would try to bring that to the Shoals. In the winter of 2015, January, we launched our very first season of shelter for Room in the Inn Shoals. During our first season, we provided over 120 nights of shelter for the homeless in our area. Room in the Inn is a partnership with congregations in our area where we actually intake the guests, bring them in, screen them, orient them to our program, and then each night of our season, we have different congregations that will come and pick up the guests from our intake center here in downtown Florence and take them back to their congregation. You're looking at about a 12 to 14 hour commitment. There's 2 ways to help with Room in the Inn Shoals. You can help through your congregation if you go to a church, or if you belong to an organization in the Shoals and you want to coordinate your congregation or organization to partner with us, you can become an organizational or congregational partner. That involves organizing a group at your church and actually sponsoring a night of shelter, picking up the guests, taking them back to your facility, feeding them, and then bringing them back to us the next morning. The other way that you can help is through individual volunteers. We have an intake office here in downtown Florence, and we have to do intake every day that we're open during the warming season. We can always find a way to plug in anyone who's interested. We can find a place to plug you in as a volunteer.